All right, we're back for LOLz. Two special guests joining us today. It's Steve Buzzard from Stochastic and Petteytheft swinging by once again. We're going to talk about DFS, sports betting, all that good stuff. Plus, Brian has received his Onyx watch. We're about to see the bling up close and personal all today on LOLz. Let's do it.
Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a go. Vegas Dave thinks this is a go.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no, and let the DFS gods pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us.
All right, you guys know Petteytheft, but Steve, I believe this is your first time on LOLz, which seems hard to believe, but is that correct?
Yeah, yep, first time. So really looking forward to it. Been following you guys for quite some time. I know the three of us kind of hung out quite a few times during when all the sports were shut down. So that was good. And yeah, but good to actually get on one of these shows and hang out and chat.
Yeah, and so people will obviously recognize you from your DFS username Dacoltz, but your official title at Stochastic, you're the Chief Financial Officer. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So does that mean like you review Osimo's expenses on like the company card and make sure he's not up to any freaky shit?
Yeah, and always is. I mean, every time, give me those receipts. Come on, what's going on? Keeping track of all the finances, and which that's not super exciting, but also doing things like what type of promotions we should run, and then also spending a lot of time on just working with data models and things like that. Some of the new sports betting stuff that we have, working and updating our projections, all that stuff. So I'm kind of split half my time with finance stuff and half my time on data and projections and those types of things.
Steve, just so you know, the Admiral is a strip club here in Chicago. Okay, so it's not a steakhouse or whatever Osmo's telling us.
I was wondering why that one kept showing up. Okay, got it.
Petty, what's new with you? It's been a couple months since we've had you on the program. I assume you're in the throes of NBA DFS season.
Oh, I am a Million Maker Super Bowl winner. Split about 1 million ways, I think it was, but I am a million winner, so that's why I was able to come back again.
Wow. What was the chop up top this year?
It was pretty good. Wasn't it 54K?
I don't think it was that much. I don't know. It wasn't 1 million. That's all I know.
Wow. So you didn't beg your competitors not to dupe you. That's what happened?
I know. I'm more friendly these days. I'm pro duping now.
It is a popular stance these days.
That Super Bowl was impossible not to dupe.
Yeah, I was enlightened by the RPS guys because the whole thing about showdowns like don't dupe, try to win by yourself, but it wasn't working for me. So now I just dupe with everybody and I win. It's wonderful.
I think the actual optimal lineup no one used though, right? So actually you could have won not duping if you really wanted to.
I won't hear this run pure FUD on this show.
What was the actual optimal lineup? Now I'm curious. Who did it have?
Burt's the captain.
Yeah, I don't recall offhand, but it was one that was a little bit. It had Pascal, even though he only had.
I know. Mock Lovin won the other Millie with a donut. I can't remember his lineup though, but I know he had a donut.
Okay, yeah, I can pull up the big one here. I mean, I love how Petty just ho hum $40,000. That's just it doesn't even move the needle for you.
Bucket.
I mean, seriously,
he's having a great NBA season. But someone else we should mention that we don't give a lot of pub to on this show is Raging Phillip, and I'm not talking about a cartoon boner. The DFS player is having a monster year. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I'm sure you have.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah, I know, but he's been crushing it this year, or at least lately. I mean, I think he wins every year, but not saying
doing good. That means Mazza's doing good too. Then.
Oh yeah. I always forget who's the teams.
Yeah, he's the one that got caught colluding in the golf. I think back in the day, those two.
I thought wasn't that an ex-poker player guy?
There's multiple teams, but I think that's one of them.
Okay. So it's the Mazwa and Raging Phillip.
And then I think Kobe for MVP and Cheta Bisk are another team.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
they work together.
But they play in the same tournament still, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously they've been – DraftKings doesn't think there's anything wrong, so they're good to go.
I need you to do like a whiteboard or a board where you're kind of like you got the circles and you're connected. All of these guys work together and all this.
I click a button and my back wall turns into a board of all the combos of teams.
Do they play the high stakes together too? Let me look at yesterday's.
I think they do.
Yeah, I'll check. Real quick.
Steve, what have you been playing these days?
Yeah, mostly NBA. I mean, that takes up so much of my time. So that's been kind of the main thing that I'm doing. MMA, I kind of stayed out of those streets for a little bit with the late swap. So I just didn't want to kind of take the time to worry about it. My thought was, one, I didn't want to figure out the time. Two, NFL and NBA were both going on. So that was another good reason for me not to worry about it as much. And then three, I just figured they might have a chance of reversing it like they did. And that would really just annoy me if I spent time thinking about it and then they reversed it. So
I did the same thing, except I played through it like a man.
Much more courageous.
So yesterday, you could enter 37 times into the 888, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 maxers, and they were 2 of them. And then Cody for MVP and Cheta Bisk are also 2. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you won yesterday, you son of a bitch.
I almost took it down. I had 2 pretty big sweats at the end. They both died out.
You're winning so much lately. Now I go to the top of the boards. I'm like, just please don't be petty theft. Please
it hasn't
don't
been
be
me lately. I've been losing lately.
I'm kidding. Anyway,
I've been losing.
Who won yesterday?
Some random name.
Mick. Yeah, one single bullet. Not a good day to max for the old Brick 75.
It feels like for me, it's like every time they have these gigantic contests, those are the slates that don't go so well. So
yeah, I mean, unless you're Petty Theft and Raging Phillip, you gotta kind of run good when you have a good night to have a decent season.
Well, last night was pretty tainted anyway because Sexton died like 3 minutes in the game, and all the other guys became mega. So
yeah, and I lowered my Horton exposure too. I just can't play that fucking guy to what it tells me to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wow, Brian, you're overriding your inner machinery with some I know better stuff.
It's because I don't have my late swap stuff set up, which should be set up shortly. But so I kind of have to do like a little bit because it's not. I need the machine to tell me, and an optimizer can't tell you the answers. So
Brian, you know we're at the All-Star break, right? That machine should have been done months ago.
Yeah, well. What are you gonna do?
What are you drinking? Is that some fancy ass water in a cardboard box?
I want to get these guys as a sponsor. BioSteel. Have you had that? Anyone had this?
Is this something like you picked up on a Joe Rogan podcast when you've been watching his 3-hour marathon?
Huberman? No, I'm kidding. I'm not Davis Maddock. All right. And the only ingredients are water, electrolytes, and stevia, and it's fucking good.
Wow. You're a new man over here. You're not getting your late swap set up. You're IKBing your NBA plays and drinking fucking, I don't know, Instagram water. I mean, who are you?
It's that watch. It's just changing you.
Let's see the watch.
I got sick of the what is the other popular stevia one that everyone drinks? Fucking hey, someone on channel now. I got so we should talk about what everyone else got too, because I know Steve got something I would never have picked. So I know for double coastal elites like Pete, who throws away Rolexes like nothing. The Cartiers are probably not what he's looking for, but yeah, this box is nicer than half the shit I own.
Is this the official unboxing, or have you already opened this?
No, yeah. Basically official. Let's see. I don't know. This camera's not very good. I should get a new camera. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice, though. I can't tell what side's up and what side's down, but.
Do you know Roman numerals, or are you going to have to study up on that?
No, I know the 1 and 2 and 3, but after that,
It gets tricky.
yeah.
You just have to
What
learn
did
them
you
every
s-
year
what-
when the Super Bowl comes out. That gets
It's
you
a nice
new
watch,
one.
There you go. What did you say it retails at? Like 14K?
15-4.
15.4.
Wow.
And it seemed of your options, wear it, put it in cold storage and see if it appreciates in value, or are you going to head right down to the pawn shop and flip it? What are we looking at?
Put it with my Bitcoin. I don't know. I just got it like 15 minutes before the show. So,
Wow. Impressive.
yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Marco says that Steve looks like someone who took the truffle hunting package. I think that's a compliment, Steve.
I hope so. I don't know. I was thinking about the truffle hunting. I don't know about the truffle hunting itself. I never knew there was such a thing, but I mean, a trip to Italy, that sounds pretty tempting to me.
So have you cashed yours in yet? What did you get?
I did the Super Bowl event. I mean, I think that's just like one of those things that I haven't been lucky enough to go there. I don't know, Petty, you probably went there when you won the other thing, right? You already went to one. So
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things that you can do one time, and I would never spend the money to do it. And yeah, why not? And my wife was pretty excited about it as well. So that's a win-win. And yeah, I think that's what we're
What was that one again specifically?
The Super Bowl.
Is it for going to a future Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's the upcoming next year Super Bowl in Vegas. So
Okay.
it's they don't have a lot of the details so far. It's just like lower level seats, and I think that's about it that they've given us information on so far. But it's a weekend in Vegas and lower level seats, and they'll give us more info as it gets closer, I guess.
Sounds like a good time.
Hopefully it's someone good like this year. Like if it was, who was it the year before? It was like Bengals and
Rams.
Yeah, like it's that game. Not as exciting, but like this one is a pretty interesting one.
We got Shady in the chat that said he went with Italy plus 1 credit of wine. No shame in that. I like how he's saying no shame to his own decision. I would hope so that you didn't have any shame in that decision.
I went with the 10 prostitutes at the same time. No shame in that, though, right?
No shame in that. The lady doth protest too much. Petty,
that's the truffle hunting one, right? So
Yeah, is that truffle hunting?
so.
Is it Italy? I think it's gotta be, right?
yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think
like
that's
how-
the only one. Yeah.
I like you put Italy, not truffle hunting.
yeah. Wait, are we not? Are we settling down on the truffle hunting? Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
man.
Petty, you said you got the motorbike, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I still haven't chosen yet. Chosen.
Okay.
I had one buddy who I told him I wasn't sure what to do. He's like, "Yeah, just throw me one of the credits. He only has one. Let's go truffle hunting together." I'm like, "No, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's the play." Your wife's
I mean,
out there.
it's that's like the online equivalent of when you try to put your arm around them at the movie theater. It's like, hey, why don't you and I just go truffle hunting together?
Yeah, just lend me a credit. That'd be great. Oh, man.
Truffle hunting with your bro. That sounds, yeah.
Well, the wives would come too, but yeah, it's not something I thought I'd ever do, and I don't think I ever will.
I feel like DraftKings needs to film like a GOAT-esque series, Whistles, Osimo, and Big T, but for whoever picks the truffle hunting package. Like Petty and you and your buddy frolicking around Italy. I would watch that short documentary.
It'd be very short. Very short. I can't. Oh, she's almost just died here. I never. It's not me.
Let's see here. JBL wants to know, do you know anybody that got the bike? I mean, we put out the call that if you get the bike, you get to come on LOLz. You have to show off the bike. I haven't heard of anyone. Have you guys?
I can see RBX taking that offer.
Yeah, I wonder if he hit it, though, because he retired, but he's still not retired. So maybe he did.
He seems very active to me.
Yeah, he's active on Twitter lately, too.
Yeah.
I know he used to be an Instagram only guy, and now he's up in he's like one of DFS best Twitter trolls these days. I feel like.
Yeah, he's the new anti-tout guy. Kinda.
No.
Yeah.
We do have a giveaway today, believe it or not. Someone just mentioned, not just for Twitch, but
Well, yes. Set this up, Ryan. What do we got?
Well, Steve is gracious enough to do a giveaway for their new bet app, I believe.
Yeah, tell us about this, Steve. What do you guys got cooking up?
Yeah, so over at Stochastic, we've been really diving into the sports betting space a lot more recently, and we've been seeing pretty good results for it. So we have a couple of new products specific. The one is our Bet Pro, which essentially allows us to use our DFS projections and pit them against any of the props that each of the different sports books offer. And then we also have another one that's in our Odd Shopper Premium package, which is more of a market-based approach where we take a historical look at which sports books have done well in different areas and kind of pit those sports books against each other so that you can kind of get what is thought of to be the best market line and compare that to each of the different books. And that will give you bets that you think can be profitable in those situations as well. So those are the two major ones that we have. Both of them we've back tested quite a bit here recently. They're both performing quite well. So yeah, I think people can find a good way to make some money on them.
As someone who plays a lot of DFS, but it sounds like more kind of like on the business side, and the tools you guys are building are focusing on sports betting, and everyone understands why. How are you thinking about that dynamic? Because it's been talked about a bunch. It seems still like a lot of hardcore DFS players, their imagination just isn't captured by sports betting. Where do you fall on that spectrum as far as DFS or sports betting's the future and DFS is too complicated for the casuals? What's your take on that?
I think that's a good question. In general, I think I'm getting more excited about sports betting than I was maybe a year or so ago. I think there's a lot of promise and a lot of good results that we've been seeing in our Bet Pro. It's given me a better chance to understand how to do well on it in sports betting, and plus being able to talk with Sean Zahn and Alex and Lee and some of the other guys on our team to strategize and have a good way to attack this has been pretty beneficial to me, and has it's kind of opened my eyes to sports bet a little bit more. And there's just the thing I like about DFS is you have that opportunity to have those big hits where you can win $40,000 on the Super Bowl or whatever. I don't think at first I didn't really think of as many ways to do that without just crazy parlays, but there are enough ways that you can have some pretty good hits that are also a little bit more consistent than maybe DFS as well. So I think that might appeal to a lot of people.
Petty, have you ever placed a single game parlay?
No, I actually have not, believe it or not. I used to bet a lot when I was playing poker in the old 2+2 forums, but I don't sports bet much at all anymore.
Yeah, I used to bet a lot when I played poker too. Pretty dumb, actually.
I was terrible.
I was
lost
awful.
in big free betting, which is actually pretty impressive.
Oh wow, that's even worse than me. But yeah, no, I just got smoked.
But I imagine, Petty, with how in the weeds you are with NBA DFS and understanding the rotations and stuff, you gotta be able to see prop lines and see stuff that feels mispriced to you, right?
Sure. So I've looked at lines, and I briefly bet some sports not long ago, and I did pretty good, but it's just hard to get down money on prop lines, and it's a headache. So I'd rather just do DFS right now.
You might get limited, shit like that. But I think you could definitely make some money still right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing that we've seen with a lot of folks is you could definitely get limited pretty quickly, but limited means something different to a lot of people. So if we're getting limited to $100 per bet, that's not very attractive, but to the majority of our customers, $100 per bet is still pretty attractive to them. That's how much they want to bet anyways. So there are a lot of ways that that maybe you can't take yourself to be the next huge upside player like Yodakawa and winning millions of dollars every week, it seems, right? But you can still make a pretty good amount of profit if you are kind of patient with it and do well. So
I want to say even last year before the SGPs like really blew up everywhere, I remember seeing Alex like fire at those. He was like one of the first guys I remember posting screenshots. I was like, is he just blasting off for fun? Clearly there was a method to his madness, but do you think there can be both content and like strategic elements around single game parlays? I guess I have yet to see anyone like do content around it and be like, you can get your money in good this way from an EV standpoint.
Yeah, it's really hard from a content standpoint on the single game parlays because they don't make them very user friendly where you kind of have to like enter in all of them before they give you the odds. Like you can't just scrape those down like you can just normal odds and create like easy tools off of them or something like that. So it's kind of difficult on a content standpoint. And then like they're changing them too all the time. So I think it is going to be a challenge for them to make content on that. And that's especially hard because they want to promote it a lot. So it feels like if one of the sites makes it a little bit more clear for how to make content, then that site could probably get a pretty big boost from all the people that want to make content around it. I mean, we want to, I'm sure a lot of other places do as well.
Those single game parlays, there's a reason they're promoting them so much. And they're giving away free bets and all our emails and shit. Because they're huge soccer bets, and the VIG on them overrides any correlation, standard correlation you think you know about. There's probably some like little ones you can do there that people don't know about yet, but the single game parlays, and I think they're annoying as hell because you have to like go to a separate page and stuff. Yep. It's like I never even bother going over there for single game parlays. Who is on who is the team that's doing the sports betting projections? You, Sean, Lee. Who's Lee?
B. Calicor from the DFS.
B. Calicor. Okay.
Streets, and then Alex.
And he's working on too.
Yep.
Okay. And who's doing your NBA minutes right now?
So we have like a rotation amongst all the four of us as well as Rich Green as well. They're doing those, and I mean all of our projections for the Bet Pro are coming from our DFS projections directly. So, we take our DFS projections and then we apply our range of outcomes and simulations and determine what our expected win rates are. We actually take our expected win rates and expected ROIs and transform them into a way that says how much you should bet on each one as well. We noticed as we did some back testing, that we would want to make sure that we kind of like the same approach that Kelly Criterion does, but in a little bit softer manner. That if it's a bet that is a heavy favorite, you can bet more of it than a bet that's a long shot, even if the EV is different, and those type of things. So we can make sure that people are betting the right bets instead of just necessarily taking a lot of long shot bets that are plus EV. But yeah, it's the five of us that are primarily working on it, and it's using our and I guess I should say, and then on the flip side, on the odd shopper side, I was saying that that's kind of a little bit more market based. So it's the five of us there trying to figure out which books are the smartest and how to best combine their lines in order to make kind of a market line for that product. And the reason why we have two different ones is just we can scale the market based one a lot quicker, right? So we can be a lot more effective on lines that are like NBA game lines, for instance, or potentially down the line we could be doing like table tennis lines and stuff like that we wouldn't really have the time to be able to make models for specifically.
Do you have a feel for like the users who are starting to dabble with your sports betting tools? Are these new users that are coming in specifically for sports betting, or is it onboarding your current DFS subs who are now interested in dabbling?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of both. So we've seen quite a few people that are completely new subscribers, and we've seen a fair amount of people that are coming over from the DFS side as well. So certainly, like there's some risk, right? As the more people you take from the DFS side, then that puts the DFS product at risk for not necessarily for us, but like there's the ecosystem in total. To your point on earlier on how we feel about those. I think there is some risk on that, but we've seen a lot of new people completely. We have, content specifically for sports betting, and I think that probably helps bring in some of those people. But I mean, the overlap of people is kind of interesting, like in general, right? People that play DFS, maybe not at the same extent that that we played at, are pretty interested in sports betting as well, because the overlap is pretty similar to them. They just want a way to win some money and have entertainment.
So I mentioned in our chat here, Pete, this Twitter guy. I don't know if you guys want.
Let me pull this up.
It's semi-related. We could still, if Steve has more thoughts, we could say. But this kind of guy I want to get your take on. Pat obviously says he's seen this guy. He kind of talks like our guy, Cash Out King.
He seems to have a slightly better resume, if this is true, than Cash Out King.
Yeah. He runs a website, Odds Jam, which is like Odds Shopper, basically, and Osmos. I believe I haven't gone there in a while, so I don't know what it does now. Some of these, they're a little promo-y here, but he does like who wants the winner today and shit like that. But I guess I'll give my take first. But it seems like some of the information he's giving out, at least just from glancing at it, is actually pretty good. He'll give out these prize picks combos, and they're just based on the lines, right? Because like the prize picks won't have the VIG and the line moves, and so you could just add up the lines that are off and go, these 6 are off if the market's right, which is a good strategy, right? So some differences. Obviously, the Cash Out King probably makes way more money than this guy. I'm not going to go that far, but I don't know. I just think like I didn't notice this guy till like a month ago, and now I see his shit all over the place, and I can't be the only one. Does anyone have any thoughts on this guy?
This is the first time seeing of him. So, Patty, you said you've seen him on your feed.
Yeah, he shows up a lot, and kind of what Brian said. He has a lot of clickbait, like more in like, oh, lose your job, join me, like stuff like that. It's just like, come on, dude, it's ridiculous. But it does seem to have a lot of good information, like line shopping, stuff that the average Joe probably doesn't do as much as they should do. He's very much like, look at all the lines, try to find the line that's off on the one random site and attack it.
Yep.
Interesting. And how is he ending up in everyone's feed? Is he going viral with some of these posts?
He's playing the Cash Out King playbook. What made him go viral? I guess big wins.
Well, I would say this is probably a more sustainable thing because the other meta, right, in sports betting is this, the $100 to $100,000 challenge. And then like these guys will go on a heater and then they'll bomb out and then their mentions are disastrous and they have to suspend their account. Like this seems at least a little better than that. Yeah.
I mean, if anyone in chat has any thoughts, I'm interested because I'm not paying that close of attention. So maybe he's dropping some like, you got to bet the Chiefs like 5 minutes before kickoff. Like this is guaranteed where, the line, clearly all the value's gone. So maybe he is doing some shady shit and I haven't seen it, but he just seems to use the clickbait Cash Out King tactics to get followers for, solid advice. Simple, solid advice, line shopping.
Yeah, I think definitely uses a lot of clickbait. I agree. The approach that he is using, those are real bets. I think. That's what it looks like. So I think that's a pretty good, attractive thing for folks. The approach that he uses is very similar to our, from what I've read, is like it's very similar to our approach that I'm talking about on our Odd Shopper Premium, where he's just taken what lines are off versus the market and how you can kind of take advantage of those. And I think it is a very good strategy over a long period of bets. Our process that we've done and kind of our back testing, which is certainly not something that is necessarily guaranteed to continue to happen in the future, but it shows about a 4% ROI over I don't know how many we it depends on which one we back tested, but it's over tens of thousands of bets over our back testing. So I think it certainly is a good profitable way to make a small amount of money. 4% every day is pretty good too, actually.
Sure.
what do you guys think of just this entire trend of people so thirsty for picks? Because I always wrestle with it where there's something more to it than just like, oh, I want to get it in good, in the way that people tail a DFS tout, right? Where you're like, you did your research. I think you made a smart decision. I want to tail you on that. With betting, it's almost like people literally just want ideas for betting, and that there's so much shit you could bet that someone just telling you, this is a bet I'm making that you could make. Like, it seems it's so simplistic for what people want from sports betting content, even relative to DFS.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ryan. I was going to say, when I was young and didn't know vig betting, I used to buy picks off of websites. And just the idea, like, they'll throw numbers at you, like, oh, we've won 8 of the last 9, we're on 5, we have the super 5-star bet, whatever. I mean, when I was young and naive, it sounded great to me. Wonderful. And I can't even tell you how much money I spent on those bets I lost on no vig free. But it's just the clickbait gets to you. You know what I mean? You don't want to miss out on something that, people are buying that is obviously not the case. I think is what it comes down to.
Was it who did you use? Bob's? Who'd you use?
Vegas Insider.
Vegas Insider. Okay.
Yeah. I remember that name.
Yeah. So they give you your money back if you lost. So I got my refund a lot, I remember back then. But obviously I was getting my ass kicked.
I was praying so hard when you said Vegas that the next word out of your mouth was going to be Dave. I really
that would be great.
I'm a little smarter than that. 10 years ago, me probably would have bought from Vegas Dave.
Oh, go ahead.
I lost my train of thought. You go first, Pete.
Well, I was going to say, Steve, how do you think, because I know another dynamic when you're doing content around sports betting and giving out these lines and stuff, especially even for this guy, right, who's giving out, his whole thing is line shopping, and we know lines can move. And if you have a post go viral or whatever, and everyone's hammering it, like, that line's going to move. And what was a good bet is no longer a good bet. And I know sites like ETR have had issues with that, where they give out a play, so many of their subs hammer it, the line moves, people are upset. Like, how do you think about, keeping your sub base tight enough that people can take advantage of the edges you're finding while also still growing the business to get as many subs as possible?
Yeah, and I think that's a really tough one. I'm thinking for this guy's tweets, I have no idea. I should actually check a couple of them and like see how quickly the lines change, or if they do change off of them. I know you can. I'm guessing you could get them in probably at least for a little bit, but it's going to be limited. We tried doing some specific pick packages and started running into that same problem. The thing that we do right now is we have basically all of our lines are posted all of the time. So you're able to, you already know what our DFS projections are. You know what our what we're going to show as a plus EV bet. And certainly, so that's not going to, so that kind of a little bit keeps people from everybody rushing all at once to get to it, just because they're all posted all the time. And certainly we've seen over the day, pretty much nonstop, the lines do move towards our lines. Whether that's them moving it towards them because they just think they're better lines is, questionable, or maybe they're just better lines and that's the way they end up going. But there is still like always pretty much some type of bet that is available to people, just because we are making so many available, instead of just, hey, at 2:30 we're going to post what I think our best line is, and everyone better be in Discord to get that pick, and then everyone hurry up and try to see if you can get it in good or not. So I think that's the way we've thought about it.
Seems the right way. It seems the right way to do it, because as long as it's live updating, Pete, it's like, okay, I go to the site and it says negative now. If I would have went there 2 hours ago, it might have been positive. So it's like, you're not, as opposed to if you give out a pick and then the guy sees it 2 hours later, he just goes right to the Chiefs and bets them, and as opposed to going to the page and you see it's live negative now, not recommended or something like that. So yeah, that is kind of a different approach than giving out the little time-based picks. Like Right Angle Sports started all that stuff. It's kind of fun for me, Pete. Like, I think a lot of people think it's just entertainment. I'm assuming maybe even young Petty thought the same thing. Like, I just want to get a bet in and have some fun, and I don't want to pick it. And like, maybe this guy's right, or who cares? Like, I'm just looking for some like parlay to sweat this game. Okay, this guy on Twitter's got it, or even bet the opposite of him. Like,
but. Yeah, and to my point, it's just saying that even like I have my college buddies who hit me up for underdog pick'em slips all the time. And they literally do. I always tell them like, oh, I want to update my prop sheet. I want to look around. I want to find you guys a good one. And they don't even care. They literally just want me to send them a slip that they can sweat. And that's why I was going back to that thing. Even with this guy, he's shopping around. You're trying to give good information. But at the end of the day, I think people just want like an idea presented to them that someone else thought of, and like the baseline that has to clear as far as being a sharp bet is just so low.
I really don't like the thought process we talked about on the show a bunch of times for protecting the like less than 0.5% of the population of idiots who's just like thinks Vegas Dave is going to make them rich. You know what I mean? Like it's an entertainment product. And we're just a cog in the entertainment system one way or another. You don't enjoy every movie you go to, every meal you have. And so, like, sure, there is a small percentage of the population that gets addicted, but that's in, like, every sector: shopping, shoplifting, eating, drinking, smoking, etc. So, like, if you can give out some EV and people are willing to give over, volunteer their money for it, I really think arguing over this small stuff is, or like really concerning ourselves, the small stuff is like just arguing from your enemy's perspective and people who just hate fucking gambling anyways and want to outlaw it and all that type of shit, and like just capitulating to them, like where we should say it's an entertainment product, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna sell picks or whatever. Now that doesn't mean like guys who are clearly trying to take advantage of those small percentage of the population shouldn't be shamed or whatever, or blocked or whatever you want to do. So not like saying Vegas Dave is blameless here, but it's such a small percentage of the population that it's like, dude, like even if like you give out a pick that's plus EV at the time, you get it 2 hours later, you're like, fuck it. I know it's not plus EV anymore because the line's moved to full point, but I still want to be bet on the Chiefs because everyone else is betting on the Chiefs. Like it's entertainment.
Ryan Nelson says some people are addicted to naked yoga, but it's a small portion of the population.
Yeah. Thanks for the SEO boost right there. We appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. So is there anything, Petty, that would pull you back into sports betting? I mean, I'm sure there's some edges you could find if you devoted more time to it, right?
It would take, DFS would have to go down pretty rapidly. California would need to legalize it. And then I don't know. I think it just takes a lot of work to be really, really good at sports betting, because not only do you need to be able to win, you need to be able to find a bunch of accounts, and it's a lot more administrative stuff than I really want to do.
It's grindy. It's really grindy.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot of sales.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like just the management side of it. Like even if you didn't get banned, it's still like grindy to pull it all off. And then like, that's assuming you can code on your own, not, well enough to like hit those lines fast, hit your multiple, however many legal books you can get, or offshores, I guess, if you're going to make it your living. So like, I don't know. That's kind of like a young man, early gambler's profession in my book. Somebody who's willing to go to every casino to count cards for a 2% edge or some shit,
Do you know what else I hear though is notoriously grindy? NBA DFS.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's fair.
There's not much we could do about that though at this point.
But they can't limit you in NBA DFS
yet.
Yeah, I know you've been saying that for a while, Brian. Don't do that.
I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Don't do that.
I'm not gonna win. Let's talk some DFS. You guys got any hot takes for us? Besides just taking my money, are you at least gonna contribute back to the community here somehow?
I'm happy there's a break. I'm burnt out. Doing this every day for a handful of months in a row is it's too much.
Do you not feel, is it because you are like, I'm not saying addicted to DFS, but addicted to the grind and the rhythm of it, that you don't feel like, hey, I can take a couple nights off, that it will actually impact your future play? Or why can't you program in some more breaks for yourself?
100%. I'm really about rhythm, and I look at, the rotations, whatever, they change so quickly. I don't want to miss one day and feel like I lose because of that. So I hate taking days off, even though it would be better to get some more balance. I didn't do a very good job this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
What
I
about
think kind
you,
of the,
Steve?
Yeah, I think kind of the same for me. I have done a little bit better, I would say, on taking days off this year than in the past, but still not probably as many as I should. It is tough if you take a couple of days off, you just kind of lose what's going on, or maybe this player is now starting, or maybe they didn't get as many minutes in the second half the last game as you expected, and like those type of things are things that you just kind of get out of the loop on pretty quickly. So yeah, I think that is a fair point.
I think it's still the least stressful professional gambling that I've ever done compared to all the other ones. Not bankroll wise. Bankroll wise is the swingiest for sure that I've ever done. PLO and steroids, like GPP, DFS, but like the actual grindiness of it, it's not the same. Like when Petty Theft stacks me when I have aces and he's bluffing with 3-8 suited pre-flop, like I'm assuming he probably would have begged now. And I get and then he takes like 2 buy-ins off me or something. Like that would like physically hurt me a little bit back then. That doesn't happen in DFS, and I don't have the same animosity towards my opponents as I did in poker. And like AP guys, like going to the casinos and stuff, although I only did that for like a year, maybe 2, you're getting in your car, going to casinos, you have to deal with like the managers bugging you and shit like that, right? There's a lot of fucking lame ass shit with that type of gambling. That's probably like bottom of the barrel. And like we were just talking about, sports betting's grindy as hell. It's assuming you're not getting limited and you learned how to win, which is hard enough. So I think we got it easy. So playing every day, fuck, man, like it's better than working construction.
Yeah. If you have to work that every day too. In poker, I mean, you're like paying attention nonstop for those 8 hours that you're there or whatever, right? You can kind of take a hand or 2 off, but like that, you don't have that for DFS where you're having to be 100% thinking all the time. I mean, you have to do some updates and stuff like that, but you can kind of do them at your leisure. And stuff,
and you see your money go away in real time too. Like it's harder.
Petty, if you could snap your fingers right now and have late swap for NBA DFS go away, would you snap that finger, or is late swap a big part of your edge?
I think it's a part of my edge, but I think it's a much smaller portion of my edge compared to most of the regulars. I think I'd be okay if they're gone. I think, I would. Do
you have a outside process, or do you use an optimizer for your late swap process?
I use an optimizer. I use
Fantasy Cruncher.
Right? I'm very basic in coding.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, you can pay somebody, and you can always improve. And now with Chat GPT, you can get shit code.
Well, that's my strategy. I haven't used that lately. It hasn't been working out very well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, overhyped.
But the poker thing, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. Some guy in Discord range was like, "Hey, do you remember me? We played poker 12 years ago or whatever." I'm like, absolutely, I fucking remember. You were miserable to me. And he probably took 6 buy-ins off me in my career, but I will never forget this guy.
Oh, God. I still remember names.
I'll never forget these guys. In DFS, though, you're right. Yeah. It's not as personal.
What was Barry Greenstein's nephew on Poker Stars? Fucking hated that guy. Like, oh, Greenstein's your fucking good. Fuck you. He would see that 99% of the time because fucking Barry Greenstein told him to. And it's like, hey, fuckhead, that can't be right, you fucking asshole. Fucking raise him every single time.
So I didn't think that personal, but pretty close.
You didn't? Oh my God.
No, I played 24 tables at the same time though. So I got
24 tables. I don't care. 24 tables or not. I recognize those names.
I was sports betting on the side too though, so I really wasn't paying much attention. I was the projections guy back in the poker day, basically. Just throw them in, hopefully I get lucky.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, you've always referenced how burned out you were on poker, but I didn't realize the scars went quite so deep. I mean, I haven't seen you that fired up about anything in a long time.
I haven't played a goddamn hand since 11 or 12.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I know Blender's doing content and Sammy does content and stuff. It's just so hard. I'm gradually like losing the hatred or whatever the fuck it was that built up from poker to where I can, all right, maybe But like, I misremember. My buddies came over like a few months ago, and they were dying to play cards, and I'm like, fine, fucking play cards. But
see, you can't. But you're not able to separate that too, because I don't want to go sit at a poker table by myself and grind, but I'll go play with my buddies and have a great time.
Kind of, but like when you're the pro,
yeah,
it's a thing. Then it's a thing now.
You can't, but it's the same way you say you're a sports speculator, DFS pro, and you can go place a bet on the Bears money line with your buddies and have a good time. You can't shift into that same mode for a poker game.
No, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. But I noticed significant raise increases once I became like everyone knew me as a poker player. All the raises kept coming now all of a sudden and shit like that. And like, you have to win every single time. You're a professional. Like,
your complaint is you're getting too much action from the fishes? I mean, what is this, Brian?
I don't want them to raise me. I just want them to call me.
See, I agree with Brian there. I don't like playing poker with my friends either because there's a lot of pressure because they think that because I played 10 years ago, I'm the superstar.
Right.
Here I am. I just want to play every hand, fuck around, and I'll lose a little bit of money. It's fine. But every time I lose a hand, I hear like, oh, the professional, blah, blah. I played professional like that. Relax.
Right. Relax. I was good in 2009, champ. You could have been too if you weren't fucking stupid.
And we could all knit it up and destroy anybody we want. But like, I want to play some cards. I'm not here to fold every hand in a live poker game. Like, come on.
That's right. Eric bringing up a really good point. If you're in prison, you play cards all the time.
That's a good point. Thank you.
If it comes to that, maybe I'll go back to cards.
Yeah. I've been having the thought too, because now that we have the newborn, I haven't been going to the gym a lot. And so like by like workouts, I just call them in my head, like prison workouts, where I'm just doing like pull-ups and push-ups and stuff like that. And now that Eric mentions the poker thing, I'm just like, maybe prison isn't so bad. You just get jacked on your own body weight, play cards. I mean, how bad can it be?
I'll pass.
Brian take over construction based on what he said earlier. I think
let's just work some construction again. All right.
That's just straight bull for construction. That was brutal.
Yeah, that's what we need. I'll shoot a vlog 1 week in prison. I want to see Brian shoot a construction vlog. I want to see how that goes.
I'm not a handy guy, but I did work construction for a little while. My buddy's dad owned a construction company, and he was straight off the boat from Ireland, so I could barely understand him. But I understood he called me a pussy fucking constantly.
Steve, what did you have any interesting odd jobs growing up? Any jobs you don't want to revisit and make sure the DFS and sports betting stays good to you?
Let's see. I don't know that I had anything too interesting. I mean, I definitely just don't want to go back into finance stuff full time, I guess. So I mean, that's not very exciting, but doing it part time with Stochastic is good.
Yeah,
Steve do it all the time.
Steve had a real job before all this DFS business, which is pretty rare, I want to say. Most of the pros are ex-gamblers of one sort or another. Steve worked for like a Fortune 500 company and had an honest goodness job.
Finance is a lot like gambling. A lot of people don't want to think of it that way, but really it is. I mean, especially like the stock market, it's basically gambling that just people want to pretend like it's not. So,
yeah. Talk about a rigged script. The stock market.
Exactly.
Steve, what percentage of your like day to day with Stochastic is the CFO responsibilities versus like DFS stuff, projections, minutes, back end stuff?
Yeah, over the full course of the year, it's probably somewhere around 50-50, maybe. Maybe slightly more towards the finance, but recently it's been probably even more so towards the finances. We've been just like over the last, 6 months or so, we've been working on a lot of different things related to finance type things. So it's been leaning a little bit more that way recently. So yeah.
What would be your ideal split?
That's a good question. I think it's fine where it is. Ideally, I think it's fine.
All right.
How it is
good,
right now.
Good company answer there. Yeah.
Polyballer. That was his screen name. That was Barry Greenstein. Just came to me.
You're sick.
Have you guys noticed anything first half NBA different than is that I feel like the sports evolve like the DFS side anyways, not real life. I could care less about real life. I know Petty, it's important to him, but like the DFS wise, I think like the games get harder. The data that comes from companies like Stochastic gets better. The floor gets raised, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just talking to my coder guy, and I was saying like I feel like pre-lock DFS is pretty brutal right now. Like the edge is small unless like from my perspective anyways. I think there is an edge still, but pre-lock is pretty sharp, I think.
Like,
I can
like,
expand on that further, but that doesn't make any sense. But go ahead. Sorry, Steve.
You mean like if people are playing the right plays pre-lock, or?
Yeah, like I think if they got rid of late swap, I think there'd be an edge still, but like a lot more money sharing amongst the.
I think if they got rid of late swap, actually, there might be a better edge, because I don't know that people would take the right risks on. I'd have to revamp my whole strategy, of course, and we all would. But
yeah,
I don't know that the common person would say, "Hey, there is a
25% chance Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray and Bruce Brown is going to be a good play, right? Or Brandon Clark might start. Or
not Bruce Brown, like piece of shit.
I don't think people would think about that so much, and I think that the edge is actually larger. FanDuel did that a couple years ago, that way, I believe, where you just couldn't make swaps, or maybe it was DraftKings, one of them. I feel like their edge would be pretty good there still. You'd have a lot more swings because you'd have to take those chances, but I don't think people would.
But Petty, you were just saying like the opposite. You're saying you say you have a little bit of an edge with late swap, but it doesn't comprise your biggest edge, and you'd get rid of it if you could.
So for me, like my main concern is beating high stakes guys, and high stakes guys are late swapping all the time anyway. So
table stakes.
I'm the opposite way. I think my edge pre-lock is huge because I think I see things that most people don't see. And it differentiates me in ways that I'm able to beat, the high stakes decently. Whereas I think a lot of high stakes players are very similar. A lot of guys who've been around for a long time, they're very good versus low stakes players who make a lot of mistakes against the high stakes players. When everybody plays kind of similar, like a lot of these guys do, it creates issues for them up top. So I think I have a pretty decent pre-lock edge where I would be okay still with no late swap. I think it would hurt me a little bit, but just not having to be around like Peter, I think would make it definitely worth it for me.
Let me rephrase that. Like for my process, I think I've kind of like maxed out what I could do pre-lock without going to like a petty theft level of detail and studying all the rotations, making my own minutes projections and shit like that. I feel like I've kind of maxed out the ideas I could come up with for getting an edge on these guys. I totally agree with the difference between the high stakes and the large field. It's actually kind of like the opposite, in my opinion, of what people think, where like in large field, like they don't play chalk enough a lot of times in NBA. And in small field, they play it too much maybe. And like you could think, here's a easy, you could use this in your regular small fields too, like just making up a situation. Let's say LeBron is only owned for 1% in your small field. Like that's a really good low play because LeBron could go off and be the highest scoring guy, where in the large field, it's not nearly as much edge because you're going against 30,000 other people as opposed to like 300, where if LeBron goes off that 300 line, that might actually do it. So, but anyways, yeah, I feel like the game's gotten pretty. It's been tough for a while, but I still think there's an edge. So like I'm like I think it's gone up like just like slightly from last year, but it's still basically beatable. And I haven't really noticed anything new really this year. I think that's worth like noting.
There's, I think, something a little different. I think the injury reporting in NBA is a little more strict now than it's been in the past. So I don't think there's been nearly as many like random guys like, I don't know, D'Angelo Russell's randomly out when he wasn't on the injury report at all. I haven't seen that very much. It's been pretty rare.
Yeah. Yeah, it usually comes out fairly early. I still wish their lineups would come out earlier. I mean, if they had their lineups like 2 hour minimum, then late swap doesn't matter as much because everyone basically has the information in hand.
Yeah,
Kind of like
yes.
MLB, right?
In returns to injury news, like obviously you could do other stuff with late swap, but
Yeah, I mean, they could still change their lineup. It happens all the time. I mean, not all the time, but it happens enough. And then they have a rule where you're supposed to have your lineup out 30 minutes in advance, I'm pretty sure. And most teams just don't give a shit.
right.
So
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, and they abide by that rule. Like,
oh, yeah, that's a whole different thing.
yeah, I mean,
It's pretty good. I read that is only supposed to be their best guess, the 30 minutes out, because someone changed their, they change them. Detroit does that a couple times here recently. It's not like they have to stand by that lineup that they put out originally, which is kind of interesting. But the majority of the time they do, obviously. But
yeah, which would be fine too. Like if you put out your lineup 2-3 hours early and you change it once a month, like I doubt anyone would really care that much. But no, they're probably sleeping or some shit. Like, oh what? Oh yeah, LeBron, he's starting. Why is he listed questionable every night?
Before,
sorry, go ahead.
oh, go ahead. No,
I was
you
going to say that's one of the issues with the injury news now is like you see Gobert, LeBron questionable on every single report now, and you got to figure there's more to it than them just being questionable every night. They're just doing that to abide by the NBA's rules.
Yeah,
it sucks.
It sucks. It's like the catch rules in the NFL. Like, what the fuck's a catch?
Yeah.
No one fucking knows.
what's
What's
questionable?
Yeah, what's questionable? Is he going to
Yes.
play? Is he not? Is it a catch?
Before we run out of time here, Steve, I know you said you were going to give away a sub. Let people know what it is, and then I'll get a giveaway screen going up here on screen.
Yeah, so we'll do a 1 month of our NBA Bet Pro, which we could start basically after the All-Star break, so that you can enjoy that. And I don't know if it'll. I guess baseball won't start by then, but it'll at least cover NBA, and then you get access to all of the stuff that I was talking about, where you can go in and you can see our projections, how we're grading out each of the prop bets for the day. And yeah, I think it would be a really cool thing for you to check out.
Petty, do you play baseball at DFS?
I used to. I was really good at breaking even or losing every year, so I gave it up. Yeah, so I got a lot of time coming up.
Okay, maybe you should get back into baseball. I mean, especially if you're losing breaking even player.
The worst thing happened to me a couple years ago. I binked the first day of baseball, and I thought I made it, and I gave it all right back.
It's my favorite. I think DFS sport, baseball.
I like this NFL season for me. NFL season is going to be awesome, and then it's like every week after that. Nope. Pete was offended by our talk about baseball. I think. Did you win at NFL this year, Steve? Did you have a good year? I can't remember. It was maybe slightly up. I should go back to RotoTracker and look at the final results, but it was almost all because of week one, and then pretty much losing after that. So showdowns did better than main slate, I would say, as well.
I think I had like very similar progress season with NFL. I had it's those damn like thirds and shit.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and it's like so I won a couple of them, and then I was also included like you said, I think it was third in the Millie Maker, and it was just kind of like, well, there was my one shot for the year, and not gonna happen after that. So
yeah. How many times have you won the big one on NBA this year? Like the $15, 30,000 entries. How many times have you won that this year? Do you know? Like
Is that
roughly?
DraftKings or FanDuel?
DraftKings.
Once maybe.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I've won once too. How about you, Steve? You won in the beginning of the season a couple times at least.
Yeah, maybe 3 or so, but it's mostly been more like the higher stake ones that I've done better at. I feel like this year. Obviously, those are easier to win just from a number of people that are in them. So,
you gotta win like one a month, kind of. For just those, not talking high stakes.
Yeah,
like one a month.
Well, you don't have to win the lower stake one, the huge one every month.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe one every 2 months.
Yeah,
To have a good season.
Yeah, to have a really good one. Yeah.
I
guess I support it mostly by the high stakes more than anything, but it feels like all of the times I've won the bigger ones are the days that's like 50K to first.
Sorry, my internet cut out there real quick. Before you go, I'm just letting people know, for anyone watching, we're going to do the giveaway here. You just need to put hashtag PrisonDFS in the chat, and in a couple minutes we'll draw. So just do that hashtag and it will log your
Travis is trying to win the promo.
I'm trying to be a professional sports bettor.
Good. Get him out of the NBA streets. Let him bet some sports.
Sorry, keep going, Steve.
Yeah, no, I think I was done.
Okay.
By the way, my answer is right. I only won one time this year, the 15.
Okay.
In October, long ago.
And the NBA season's what, like 5 months, 6 months?
Mid-October to mid-April.
4, 6,
Maybe
6, 7 months. Yeah, so if you win 3 in a year, yeah, you want to win like 3 in a year at least, right? To have like a nice season.
Probably less than that. I think 2 would be fine. It depends if 50 or 100.
Yeah.
If it's 100, you don't need 3.
That just like, but it's tough to keep your expectations, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you don't win for 2-3 months, you probably think you suck at DFS.
Well, then you got to check a graph and see how many times you finished 0.1% and complain about it.
Right. Yeah, and then go, look how great I am. It's just so unlucky.
Yeah.
And then someone will be like, no, you just didn't play the right guy to get from 10th to 1st. Like, you can do that.
All right.
So that's interesting. Like, I think you were talking about this one a couple episodes ago of the luck between 10th and 1st, which I pretty much agree with. That is the case. However, I did look at some data from that, and the 150 maxers on average, if they finish in the top 10, they do win about 20% more often than a random person that finishes in the top 10. So their lineups are just slightly better at the top. So there is like some skill to it still, whether you yourself can make yourself a little bit better. I think it's just like, even so, part of what I think it is like, if you are not as good, maybe you kind of get lucky and get all the way up there, but you still made maybe a small mistake. But there is a little bit of skill to that.
I think in the grand scheme of things, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think on the individual night where you took 10th, it's just random.
Yes, right.
But like your example, if you think in PGA terms, that makes a lot of sense. Where, like, when you get into days 3 and 4, the golfers have different chances to win the tournament. You know, we know the odds because Vegas puts the odds up. So like the lineups you're putting together would be better than the other guys in the top 10. They have a better shot to win. Doesn't mean and then over time, your lineup that has a better, you know, shot to win will win more based on, unless, you know, Vegas is wrong, which, you know, they're pretty much not. So that makes sense overall as a whole. But yeah, I think on a given night, it's a bit of a stretch where you're like, I knew Chris Paul was going to make that 3 with 2 seconds left in the last game for me to get on the top. That's why I played him in this lineup.
Yep. Yeah.
You donkeys.
All right. We're going to draw for the winner of the monthly sub. I believe that's $100 value. Is that right?
Yeah.
Steve?
No.
All right. Oh,
Man. Runs pure. On brand.
People just run pure.
Travis.
Yeah.
This is going to be some Intel, Co-Intel Pro here to get into Stochastic's betting app and steal it.
We're gonna draw one more, Steve, if that's all right. Here, we can do one. We can do mine even too if we need. I want to make sure we're getting a man of the people from the chat as well. Here, Jake, we can figure this. There we go, Jake. You are another. Awesome.
Yeah, you could just DM me on Twitter at Steve Buzzard, and I'll get you set up.
Sweet. Any other final thoughts here, Brian, before we close this out?
No, not really. NBA break, little MMA action maybe for.
Is it a good card on Saturday?
It's 100K to first, I think, which is all I really care about.
All right.
Doesn't matter who's fighting as long as it's 100K to first.
Yeah.
Well, I was listening to Blender talk about he had gotten into MMA so much. He was saying this past weekend when he was in the Super Bowl or in Nashville for the Super Bowl that he wanted to go watch the card without even having any lineups on it. That's how deep into the sport he's gotten now. So I didn't know if you were on that level now, Brian.
No, I didn't watch this past weekend. Although I did want to see those fights.
Yeah.
But a little late.
Little late. Yeah. Petty, anything else on your end other than just trying to win enough money to get a stochastic betting sub here now that you didn't win one?
I mean, I thought I had a pretty good chance of winning that one. I think Alex would want to give away one more, but that's just me. But no, I got nothing more.
It would have been our one shot at getting rid of petty theft and the DFS streets right there.
Yeah,
There you
You
go.
never know.
Steve, any final words? I mean, we didn't really get, the kind of the bang, bang shots fired. You want to say someone's shitty at DFS, they're colluding. I mean, now is the time to get it off your chest.
I don't think I have seen anyone colluding. So no, I don't have anything for that. Appreciate you having us on, talking about, look forward to talking some more sports betting and DFS in the future.
For sure. Yeah. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Very fun time pondering hypotheticals with prison DFS and a little peek behind the curtain too. Brian went on a guest booking, really just, I don't know what a streak. You were on fire yesterday. You were letting me know some guests that you have booked for the coming months. So we'll be sure to tease that out as we get closer, but lots of guests coming up on LOLz. You can come hang out with us in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. We got the LOLz channel. We got Brian's Discord. And over on Brian's site, brick75.com, you've been doing PGA projections, MMA projections, anything else over there, Brian?
No, PGA ownership, MMA ownership, and projections. And I think that's all I do now.
Perfect. All right. Check all of that out. We will see you guys back here next week. Actually, can we tease this now? Do we have our guest booked for next week, Brian?
Yeah. Next week's Pat Mayo.
Pat Mayo. Nice. Another guy who he's been on these airwaves before, but not LOLz specifically. So that will be fun to chop it up with Pat Mayo. Have a great weekend, guys, and we will see you next Wednesday. Peace.